Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Thursday, everybody. Thursday, Srimad Bhagavatam. And me and Kaustubha before the class today. I woke up late. Woke up a little late. Stayed up a little late. Mara and Patrick came over, and we had prashad. Mara made this really good garbanzo bean cream of coconut, and I had basmati rice. I made a really good salad, I will say. Right, Mara? Come on.
It was delicious.
Thank you. And then I made chapatis. Yep.
No, okay. Getting serious over here. Did you
mill
your own flour?
No. You know what I did?
What did you do?
I grew it. I grew my own damn flour in the backyard. Then I went there with a wheel, and I got out the wheel, and I just started grinding this. Top that one.
All right, you win.
And anyway,
how were the chapatis, Mara?
Then we did
tell the truth.
Oh, the chapatis.
Did they puff up fully?
Most of them did, yes.
Nice. Yeah, like round, like a volleyball. You couldn't even distinguish them from a ball.
Wow.
Pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed with the skills.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a Sweet Baby Krishna reading, which was nice. And then we had a Damodar Astakam.
We just got one more. It's tonight. And then that's it.
This is it, everybody. This is it. Get your candles in. Get ready for that big red moon. The blood moon.
Winding up.
The Rasa Purnim moon.
Yeah, and winding up our vows, right? If we've taken vows for the month, and then you complete them today.
One could call them winding them up.
Yeah,
or
whatever.
Playing with them. Playing with those vows. No, a lot of people on program.
Is that the way you work with vows? You kind of play around with them?
You play around with them, see how they work.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people did extra japa, they told me. They've been reading extra. They've been not missing a Sweet Baby Krishna.
Nice.
It was good. Kumi, who's one of our regulars, she reads every day on Krishna book. Anyway, Mara, so me and Kaustubha got in here today, and Mara came in. She said, well, what's the nugget today? What's the nugget? And Kaustubha said, I got no nuggets. And I said, I got no nuggets either. And I said, wait, that in itself is a nugget.
Is it?
And Mara said, what do you mean, master? What do you mean?
The riddle, tell us the answer to this riddle.
Tell me, master. Well, it reminds me of a time in life where there literally was no roadmap to existence. You just sort of did, or you worked, or you played, or you searched, or you romanticized. Do you remember that time in life where everything was complete? You need a roadmap.
What are you talking about exactly? I don't understand
it. You need a concept of right and wrong. You need some parameters. You need some direction.
And there was a time where that didn't exist?
No, there was a time that existed in me, in my life.
It didn't exist in your life?
No, it did exist in my life, sir.
You had a roadmap.
I had no route. Now I have a roadmap.
Okay.
See where I'm going with this?
We were nuggetless.
Okay. We were nuggetless. Life without nuggets. You know why? Here's what happens. You go to school and you say, you got to learn these techniques.
They don't give out any nuggets in school.
They don't give out nuggets. They're giving out techniques. I need a nug.
Okay.
I said, come on, give me a nugget. Don't give me a technique. Here, you can be incredible at math. You can be incredible at illustration. You can be great at Photoshop. You can be great at marketing. You can be at sales. And then, okay, I got an A+ in sales. Now what do I do with my life? Well, now we got a headhunter coming to the college or to the high school, and he's going to pick it. The guidance counselor is going to set you up with a university, and then the headhunter comes to the college and picks you up. Next thing you know, it's like you're in midlife, and then you got to go on a dating app to find a spouse. And then you're popping out some kids, which is another, like, without a roadmap, that's a problem. We need direction. We work so hard climbing this ladder of success. Mara?
Yeah.
You climb that ladder of success, work hard, resources, time, energy.
It's just like Mary. She climbed to
education.
the top of the ladder with her catering business, but still something was missing.
Something was missing. Mara was at the top at one of those like fire ladders, like those serious like extension fire ladders. She was at the top of that ladder realizing the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. What do I really want in my life? And she had to do the very difficult work, but sweet, of climbing down that ladder, giving up all of her so-called comforts, and then realizing this is what I really want. I want bhakti. And here she is.
Okay.
So anyway, it's sort of scary, even if you have great success, but you have no roadmap, no direction, no compass. And this is what the nuggets are all about.
It's kind of like the way that our educational system is set up. Is it's like you don't know what life is for, but whatever it is, I'm going to need to make some money, so let's just focus on that.
Yeah. And you're not developing character. In India, Greek, the idea was, you develop character. That's the last thing I developed in junior high school, character. If there was a grade for character, if there was a grading system for character, they'd be like, you got to go home, sir. You have to go home right now. Yeah. It just like teaches us the opposite. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary for you. It's scary for your kids. It's time. We got to figure this stuff out. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, all the previous masters, for giving me some direction. And you know what? How to move forward if we don't even know where to move forward? I think the nuggetless nugget is maybe the highest nugget of them all.
I don't know if it's the highest one of them all, but I think I get your point.
Mara, come on. Is it the highest nugget? That everybody needs a nugget.
Everyone needs a roadmap.
Thank you. See what she did with that one was she
agreed with that.
Agree with me and Kaustubha at the same time. You're like an expert diplomat. Oh, Krishna. Do you write OMK or OMG? I write OMK.
Well, I suppose it would be what I don't really write either of them.
You don't write OMG
on
a regular basis? I write OMK all the time. I have like maybe twice a day at least. I think I wrote it this morning. OMK. Okay. Just wanted to see where your abbreviations were at, Kaustubha.
Okay. Why don't we pull it in at this point, Raghu, and chat our munches? How's that sound? Do we have any announcements to make?
There's a Bhakti recovery group meeting today at noon, and Jumuna Jaya is offering her Fun Day Friday tomorrow, her asana class at 5:30 p.m.
5:30
Jumuna Jaya.
Okay.
Yep.
A ray of
So,
divine light.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then is there Sweet Baby Krishna tonight?
No.
No.
I've got stuff. All right, you want to hear something else?
I don't know.
My daughter's boyfriend is coming in.
From California?
Flying in from California.
See, this is Raghu's strategy. He's like, this boy, I'm totally into him. Why? Because he's on the other side of the country. It's perfect.
3,000 miles away.
That means she can't get involved with anyone over here. And the person that she is involved with, she's never going to see. This is a perfect arrangement. But now worlds are colliding.
So
West Coast is coming in.
So my daughter's in private school. So today it's just me and him hanging out all day.
No, that's got to be awkward for him.
well, you know what? I think I should start in real alpha, real sort of like slug him in the stomach first, just to
Okay.
just to establish the alpha male, and then you bring you slug him, and then you bring him in close and embrace him, and then he understands. Dogs in a pack do the same thing. They have that dog fight, and then all of a sudden, now we can work together. Right? You gotta keep on it. Yeah.
All right.
I won't slug him, but you know what I mean. He's super sweet kid. His mother's a really nice devotee. Known her for years. I've known him since he was a baby, truthfully.
Who's his mother?
I can't say it on the show.
All right.
People could stalk their family. Hi, you dating Raghu's daughter?
How long is he staying for?
I'm driving. He's part of the party. We're all driving to Florida together.
Oh, interesting.
It's family 2.0.
Okay. This should be an adventure. When does it begin?
The adventure begins like as soon as he gets here. Keep them apart. Keep them apart.
In other words, tomorrow you go on the road?
That's the adventure. It's like it's an adventure for me. Tomorrow I go on the no. We go on the road like Sunday.
On Sunday, okay.
All right. Let's do this, man. I just think that these are interesting twists and turns devotees have to face. This kid's a nice devotee, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Bachi, my daughter's a nice devotee.
So you're encouraging this union.
I'm encouraging it. Yeah. He wrote me the most. He wrote me the sweetest text message. The guy's sweet. Who writes a text message to the father of the girl he wants to date?
See, he had some character. Right?
He
didn't learn that in school. He learned it from his mother, probably.
Yeah. He's homeschooled, I think. He learned it from his mom. I appreciate it. Kids are nicer, I think, these days. Ready? Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojaya mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhakti or bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in class in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksuranmidatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 3. Where are we at, Mara?
Chapter 28, and we're on text 5, or we were still reading the purport of text 4 last time.
By the way, we want to give a big shout out to all the people that donated money. People came forward. Some people donated a little, some people donated a lot. For people who want to do the retreat, they have these people, maybe they want to do it, but they can't do it for some reason, but they have some resources. So there's a bunch of people who really wanted to go, but couldn't afford to go. And so we opened up a scholarship program, and people donated money. It was very
Columbia retreat.
For Kali our retreat in Colombia, hearing, chanting, singing, delicious vegan food, and
nature.
And we're looking forward to it. If you didn't sign up and you'd like to, please sign up. And there's a waiting list for scholarships. But if you'd like to donate or give some to a scholarship, sometimes if you have the resources and you want to donate, please do contact Mara. Wisdom of the Sages 108@gmail.com. Thank you. I'm really impressed with the people. We have some good people around us, Kaustubha.
Such a good spirited thing to do.
It's a good spirit.
When you facilitate someone else's spiritual life, you're really doing the best thing for your own spiritual life.
I think it said you get more, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if it said that or anywhere, but I think it said that somewhere in one of those books. You get more.
It's a beautiful attitude.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely in the spirit of Saint Nick. All right, let's continue. What text, Mara?
Text 5, chapter 28.
Right, this is a good one.
So we're getting the description of Ashtanga Yoga here now. We've been hearing a lot about the yamas and the niyamas. They've been kind of laid out here already.
One must observe silence, acquire steadiness by Mona.
Mauna.
You're very Raghunath today.
Am I?
Yeah, you're a little Raghunath.
Am I interrupting you? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You're slower today.
I'm a little slower. I can't keep up with you. I'm usually 2 steps ahead, jumping all over you.
Yeah.
One must observe silence, acquire steadiness by practicing different yogic postures. Wonder which ones. Control the breathing of the vital air. Withdraw the senses from the sense objects and thus concentrate the mind on the heart.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, here you go. It's like we've been hearing. It's kind of a bit of the last verse was more or less straight out of, well, vice versa. The Yoga Sutras are taken straight from it, right? Like this is a text that predates Yoga Sutras, but you can see Patanjali was reading Bhagavatam. It's all right here. And so basically you had the yamas and the niyamas. He's throwing in an extra one here, maunam, silence, right?
Yeah.
But then when you read the rest of this verse, what is it? It's the 8 limbs, right? Asana.
Ooh, right. You're good, man. You
Yeah.
bring it right back to the Yoga Sutras.
You get pranayama.
I didn't even pick up on that because I'm not looking at the Sanskrit. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but even if you don't, right? It says steadiness by practicing the yoga postures. That's asana. Control the breathing of the vital air, pranayama.
Yep.
Withdraw the senses from the sense objects, pratyahara. And then concentrate the mind on the heart. So here the word for that would be dharana, but we have a couple of the words are different here. Instead of pranayama, it says pranajaya. Like, I guess that means jaya, victory over the breath, control of the breath, right? Pranajaya.
Same concept.
Same concept. Pratyahara, the word is the same. Asana, the word is the same. Indriyanam visayat manasa. Oh, manasa hridi, and then focusing the mind on the heart. But so the practice of Ashtanga yoga is being laid out here, But again, here it's a little bit more detailed, and here we're gonna get the object of meditation in great detail as well. But maybe read the commentary to this, Raghunath.
Reminds me of one of the, I always wanted to name it, if I have another child, which I most likely won't.
Okay. But anything could happen.
But who knows? It's a crazy world out there. I always wanted to name a child Prananath, the Lord of Prana, the Lord of my prana. What a beautiful name.
The Lord of my life, in a sense.
Lord of my, yeah.
The Lord of my life.
I always wanted the other kids to be named Bunky. I kid you not. Bunky Bihari. My wife poo-pooed on that one.
Well, the door's opening for that. Maybe if you're gonna get married again, maybe that could be like a
we're just gonna rename the children.
Hey, if we have children, you could have that written into like the prenup.
It's like a prenup.
If we have children, I must be allowed to name the child Bunky.
Whatever I like. You may never. If you question it, I will leave you immediately. It's one of those like Danic vows.
One of those Gunga stipulations.
Sure. I named the child Bunky Bihari. What? You're going to be ridiculed in school. I wanted Muck and Shore, I wanted Bunky Bihari, and I wanted Muck and Lal.
Muck and Lal.
Muck and Lal. All three. I got the 2 thumbs down.
What does your name mean? It sounds. What an interesting ethnic name you have. What does it mean?
It means I'm a butter baby. Butter baby. My mom, they don't ask. And they have to change it to something cool like Mucky. My name's Mucky. Okay, let's go. Text 8. Oh, no. You want me to read the purport of what?
Well, you could either read the purport or you could read text 6 instead of jumping forward to text 8. It's up to you.
Okay, let's read text 6.
Okay.
Fixing the vital air and the mind in one of the 6 circles of the vital air circulation. Here we go. It's getting mystical. Within the body, thus concentrating one's mind on the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead is called Samadhi, or samadhana of the mind. Yeah. Samadhana.
So that's the final of the 8 limbs of the Ashtanga yoga system, Samadhi. Right.
Fixing the mind in one of the 6 circles of the vital air circulation within the body.
But,
they don't teach that at Yoga Works.
Well, let's talk about meditation, right? Because Ashtanga yoga is it's a path where it's a path where the practitioner says the way that I'm going to achieve the goal of yoga is through concentration of the mind, and through like how to put it, through like a very manual, like almost mechanical system of
Right.
mind control, where I need to take every advantage. I need my lifestyle has to be advantageous, otherwise it's never going to work. Then I have to do asanas. You know, when it said there, it said in the previous verse, it was said acquiring steadiness through practicing different yogic postures, right? Because to concentrate the mind, it requires a steadiness in the body as well. You know,
Yeah.
like actually, there's a yogic. Have you ever done this kaya styram, Raghunath? You familiar with that?
Styrum. It means fixed.
Kaya, yeah.
Fixed what? What's kaya mean?
Steadiness of the body.
Okay.
Steadiness of the body, right?
You sit there and you see how long you can stay still. Is that it?
Well, not necessarily see how long you can do, but do it for an extended period of time. Like this is
Don't
something.
move anything. Don't move any
Yeah.
part of your body. That's like one of the hardest yoga things for me to do. I can do Supta Karmasana before I can do Kaira Styram.
Okay. Kaya
Sit there
styram.
and do nothing, Raghunath.
But I've done that with Yogi Charu. He's taken me through that before. You
Yeah.
know, he's into that kind of thing.
Sitting there.
Try this at home, right? You try this. You sit very still. Then you place a book on top of your head, and that's one indication that you're staying steady, right? Because
I used to have my students do it with a glass of water.
Oh,
You put like a paper cup of water, and you have to sit there, and you have to count your breath. And what happens is, especially if it's early in the morning, there's a tendency to nod off, and there's a tendency to, whatever, when you fidget, and you just it gives you a light reminder to not,
No, yeah. It otherwise quickly the spine. You know, part of the clarity and the lucidity in the mind comes from the straight spine, right? When you sit up straight, concentration becomes easier. And I used to teach meditation classes at the Bhakti Center, and they would.
I didn't know that. Mara, did you know that?
I did that for years.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But this is my people like this meditation class. I tell you, Raghunath. This is what I did.
You taught it. I'm sure they did, Prabhu.
No, I mean it was just it worked well because
I like
we gave
anything
me
you do.
Oh, come on.
I like your prashad.
I like your chapatis. So what we would do is we'd sit down and sit very straight, and we'd put that, and I would tell them what's going to happen. We're going to spend about 20, 25 minutes here on this meditation, right? And we'd sit up straight. We'd place that book on the head, close the eyes, and then we'd start to concentrate on the breath. And first you bring your mind to the breathing right at the nostril, and you focus all your attention there, right? And you bring your entire mind to the breath as it enters the nostrils. And there's something about bringing the mind to the breath that brings you into the moment, and you let go of the past, and you let go of the future, and you're just right there, right? So you bring your mind to the breath in the area of the nostrils, then in the area of the throat, then in the area of the chest, and then all of it as one unit. You concentrate on that, and so you do that for a good 5 minutes or so. And what happens is it does have a way of bringing you into the moment, and all that you're thinking about as you're walking down the street and going to work, and all these things, you kind of let them go for now. You're in a bit of a different space, and you're in the moment, right? And then it's Kaya Styram, as I learned it from Yogi Charu, who learned it. He studied these things at the
Satyananda's.
Yeah, what's that school called? The
Bihar School of Yoga.
Bihar School of Yoga, right? So the way that works is you bring your entire intention of your mind to let's say first your right foot, right? You're sitting very still now, and now your mind is a bit easier to concentrate because you've taken 5 minutes or so of just concentrating on breath. Now you bring your entire mind into your right foot, and you focus it there, and you hold it there, and then you make that foot feel like stone, like it's just like made out of concrete or something, right?
Yeah.
And then you move to your left foot, and you do the same thing, and then you go up each leg, and you're making and then say your lower body, you feel it like rooted into the ground, like it's like a tree, just like immovable.
Yeah.
and you keep coming up the entire body until you get to the top of the head, and you're just completely still. You're like a stone, and then something begins to happen where it's like, as you have your eyes closed and you're staring. What is this called again? The sky of the mind. The I think it's called the mana akash or something like that. Like you have your eyes closed, but you're focused on this central spot. And people sometimes they see different things at that point. They see different colors or whatever. Not that's important, but now you're in this space where almost like you've let go of your senses in your body, and you're kind of just like almost just like floating. You're just kind of floating in space. And then I would bring in the mantras, right? And I would chant a mantra, and then they would repeat it. So previous to getting into all this, I explained the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Oh yeah.
And I would chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. They already know the meaning, and they're familiar with the Sanskrit. And then I would chant it, but real slow. I would chant it so that like each mantra takes like a little over 30 seconds to chant Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo. Do real slow, and you go into that mantra. And I've already told them like the sages, in the Himalayas, if you go back 10,000 years, they were chanting this mantra, right? And if you come back there 10,000 years from now, you're still going to find sages up there in that forest chanting the same mantra, right? This
Different
is like
ones,
eternal.
different sages.
No, different sage. Even sometimes it could be the same sage.
And so, okay.
Yeah, so now they're going
devil's advocate. Where do you go with all that?
Well, it's a way.
I took that as like, if you're not looking at this on Zoom, I look at that as trying to eat a pakora with your hands wrapped around your head and then putting it in your mouth. Wow. I like, instead of going to Sweet Baby Krishna, I'm going to Sweet Concrete Foot meditation. Like, what's the point? Why
no, because
why not just meditate on Sweet Baby Krishna?
All right, I'll answer your question.
Instead of Sweet Foot.
Well, why are we reading all of this in the Bhagavatam? Why is Kapila telling Devahuti about practicing asana and practicing pranayama? The whole idea is so that you can concentrate your mind on that form or on that mantra. So it's a way of facilitating concentration of the mind. Right? That's the idea. We made the whole body solid so that it could be perfectly still. That's what he said right here, right? One has to acquire steadiness by practicing different yoga postures. So it's a way of practicing steadiness, styram, stillness. When the body is still, then we can begin to focus the mind. So that's why, right? But the point is that within the mantra, within the name, right, within the nama, the name, again, nama, rupa, guna, lila, within the name, the form, the qualities, and the pastimes of Krishna, that those have incredible spiritual potency. But the point is we need to be able to focus on them. We need to be able to concentrate on them. And so all the different limbs of yoga are bringing one to the point of dhyana and ultimately samadhi, so that one can have that complete concentration. But what I would do is I would do that for some time we would chant. I think I would only chant it 8 times, something like that. But it would take a long time, and it would feel like a long time to people just chanting it so slow. And I would chant it out loud, and they would repeat it in their mind. They wouldn't even chant it out loud. They would just repeat it in their mind. And then once we were done with that, I would just start chanting Brahma Samhita, but like just really like slow. And they would just sit there and listen and feel that vibration. And when they would come out of that, and now you've been like perfectly still for like 20, 25 minutes without budging, without moving it. Try that at home, see if you can sit still for 25 minutes without budging, and then they would come out of that slowly, and they would feel so refreshed. Because how often do we even focus the mind on one clear, beautiful meditation for any extended point of time?
Oftentimes we're like exhausted from thinking about the future. Exhausted, just worrying about what could happen. Like this could happen, or something could go here, and then this could happen. And like those thoughts in themselves exhaust us. Like our possibilities are exhaust us sometimes. We suffer from too many. Our past. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, but they said this and I should have said that. And
why didn't I ever do that? It hits a trigger point. I should have told them off. Next time if I ever see them again. We stew in this. That's the problem of not having a nugget life. #nugget life.
Okay.
Right? Without nuggets, we go back, we resent, we dig up old bones. We talk about, I should have done this, I could have done this, I would have done this. And then the future, what if this could happen? My great fortune could happen. I could lose my great fortune. Do you think she'll ever, right? It goes on forever. Thank you,
Past
Kaustubha, for
and the
giving
future.
us. We were reading in the Garga Samhita yesterday during Sweet Baby Krishna,
Yeah, okay.
that the descent of Govardhan,
Yeah.
and the spiritual world, and how the spiritual world manifests in this earth. And it's like, and what the spiritual world is like, all conscious. Everything is conscious in the spiritual world. And it's just describing the spiritual world, how it's above the gunas, it's above the monas, it's above karma. It's like a whole nother realm. It's above time, which is, we can only explain it, but we can't even fully grasp it because we're so out of it. But what we're trying to do is, we are in this matter world, and we're trying to create like a little bubble of spirit within this matter world. Sometimes you make oil and vinegar, and you shake it up, and like inside at the bottom there are little bubbles of oil, just like little oil bubbles within the vinegar mahatattva of the universe, right? And it's completely like separate. It's not touching. This is like the liberated soul, the paramahamsa. They are like in the vinegar of material existence, but they're completely detached from it. They're just in it. And this is what we're working on. We're trying to become a little oily ball, people. Come on. Separated, taking that spiritual realm. It's really just resurrecting. That's why I like
to
this.
Become a grease ball.
Become a grease ball.
Careful with the ethnic references here. Calling me a grease ball.
But yes, not you, but yes, we are resurrecting our spiritual self. Instead of being, blended in with that oil, we are complete. Find our separateness within the crazy material world. It's like sort of like the warden goes into the jail, but the warden doesn't have to go to prison. He can walk out of the jail. The warden can go home at night. The warden can stop off at 7-Eleven, get a big gulp. The warden can do that.
They can. Huh? And I like, what you said about the Garga Samhita, where what you're doing is, let's plug into something that's beyond our mind and senses. It's a description of a spiritual realm that has been handed down through spiritual sound for many, many centuries. But it's describing a realm which is beyond the gunas, which is where yoga is meant to take us. You get to the very last sutra in the Yoga Sutras. Right?
What is it?
How does it all conclude? I'm going to read it.
Mara, what's the last sutra of the Yoga Sutras? She was wiping the floor with Patrick Hefferman on the trivia contest yesterday.
Oh, Mara cleaning up.
Cleaning house. Patrick Hefferman stumbling around in the dark, banging into walls. Mara's like, this verse, this shloka, this is...
Nice. Well, here's the final sutra of the Yoga Sutras. Ultimate liberation is when the gunas, the modes of material nature, devoid of any purpose for the Purusha, right? Devoid of any, they have no more business with one anymore. So ultimate liberation is when the gunas, devoid of any purpose for the Purusha, return to their original latent state. In other words, when the power of consciousness is situated in its own essential nature. So the idea is, through yoga, we're meant to come to a state of consciousness. We're meant to revive, rediscover our own original nature, our own original consciousness, which we are out of touch with because of the influence of the three modes of material nature, the gunas. They're dragging us one of three different directions all the time. And so the idea is we need to bring our mind. This is what meditation is. You bring your mind to that which is beyond the gunas, right? You can do it by meditating on the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You can do it by reading the Garga Samhita, and meditating on Govardhan Hill and what's beyond it. Our most recommended and effective is reading Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Which is
highly recommended.
Highly recommended.
Swamiji Jeffrey Ackler writes, Raghu Prabhu 100% mentally exhausted from playing out scenarios. Just think about it. We turbo scenario. When I say we say this word turbo scenarios, when you create like fantastic things that are happening in the mind, it's just laying on your back in bed, thousands of things playing out, like creating dramas, turbo scenarios. basically adventure films, horror films, right? All in the mind.
Right.
Think about what a useful tool that practice of meditation that can save a person from like depression, suicide. I'm just saying it's a useful tool if you have that condition, because it gets you right out of the mind, right out of that turbo scenario.
It's so everyone needs to do it, right? Like it's like you're kind of just spinning your wheels if you don't. And most of us, the way that we're conditioned through television and through internet and through everything else that we're exposed to, is it becomes hard even to take up that discipline, right? Let me give a half an hour to just focusing my mind on something fully spiritual.
You want to hear something sad? Want to hear something sad?
Sure.
She's
okay. How about something really depressing?
Maybe. Well, you know what? Driving across America with the boys, I let my kid.
Remember that. I remember that. Trip.
Remember that trip doing on the side of
another one.
Isn't it fun doing this? Anyway, pulling over at gas stations. That was the good old days. But anyway, my kids, I let them play these little video games. Okay. And I tell you, my little kid got completely addicted to one video game called Among Us. And it's all this stuff like, it's like a little maze, and you're in a maze and you try to kill people, and somebody's the killer and somebody's the imposter. And what they do now with video games, I'm so old, is they make like a whole culture around a video game. Like there's songs. There's songs about the video game. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. If you're our age, you won't even believe this, but it's true. So when I drive him to school, I'm like, okay, it's morning time. We're listening to the Ramayana. So we're in the midst of the Ramayana. On the way back, he's like, now it's time to play my list. And I will say, these songs are addictive. Like where was I? Nashville and Houston. Walking around like the Holy Temple in Houston singing, he's the killer, I'm the killer. I'm singing, I'm the killer. I'm the killer. And it's creating this like mental, I'm not the killer. I don't want to
You're not the killer.
Cold Stone Killer. But I got a 7-year-old walking around the house saying Cold Stone Killer.
What kind of game is this? It's like some kind of
come on. Every video game you got to kill somebody. That's maybe not like,
well, that's what they play.
Maybe not like you and
me. The candy game that they play on the phone.
Candy Crunch or something.
Yeah, they're not killing anyone.
You and I know
what kind
it.
Of games are you getting?
They're just eating candy. I should just have them play that one. But it's sort of like, it stinks because it's like a little addictive too.
You got to throw that thing out the window, Raghunath. Why'd you give him that thing in the first place?
I know.
Right, that was a mistake.
And that's what kids talk about. Yeah, they talk about it and they're into it. He got the short end of the stick of the kids.
You're tired now, right?
I'm sort of retired. I got to get back into active parenting when this whole mess is through.
Okay.
Anyway,
we're all like that, right? We're all like those kids distracted by so much garbage, and it's hard to concentrate our minds on something positive.
So that was where I was going.
Yeah.
It takes over the mind. Just like when I was saying I was listening to those real murder podcasts. Mm-hmm. What were they called? True crime, Mara?
True crime.
True
Apparently
crime
that's how podcasting began, right? It was like
with true crime.
Popular true crime kind
They're
of thing.
very good. But you just walk around thinking like, that man could kill me. This person might kill me. Everybody's trying to kill me. You just start thinking about death all the time and murder and people doing murderous things. It's like, I don't need to think of that on a regular basis. I'm not a cop. I'm not a detective. Just let me trust people.
Well, you see, concentrating the mind is difficult. It's not easy. So if we've been conditioned through so much imagery and so on, it's challenging, especially if we don't have someone to do it with, And this path of yoga that Kapila is laying out here is for the what's the word? For the person that isolates themselves, for the person that, for the hermit, going out, sitting in a secluded place and practicing this. It's really hard, incredibly hard work. Now, we have a different path laid out for us where we can maybe just do that for a certain amount of time in the day, right? You wake up a little early and you invest this time. And in the beginning, is it fun?
Yeah.
I was going to say no.
No.
I thought you were saying that.
No. What does he want me to say?
Say no. In the beginning, it's challenging, right? And it's hard, and maybe there's no taste there. Maybe there's no, but you stick with it, and you begin to find that it has a very positive effect on the mind and in the heart. And so then, you dedicate some time to this direct practice, right? A little hearing, a little Bhagavatam like we do here every morning, a little chanting, which is a meditation, right? A little mantra meditation. Maybe a little reading on your own, maybe a 15, 20 minutes with the Bhagavad Gita every day. You kind of carve out some time in the day, and you decide clearly and commit, right? That's part of any kind of spiritual path, is you have to kind of make a certain determination, right? That this is what I'm going to do, right? Okay, for the next week, I'm going to read Bhagavad Gita for 20 minutes every day, and I'm going to, and then I'm going to talk to one person about what I read. Okay, now you got a little practice there, a little sadhana, right? And so you carve out the time in the day, and then on top of that, there's all those other things that have been mentioned, right? You have to be dutiful. I'm going to be a good parent. I'm going to be a good spouse. I'm going to be an honest person. I'm
gotta apply
not
this
going to
stuff.
lie. I'm not going to. Yeah. So you have all of that background in life, and then you have, but the value, the ultimate value to it, what it ultimately delivers, is a more peaceful mind that I can begin to concentrate on Bhagavatam, concentrate on the mantra, and so on. And that's how spiritual transformation takes place. So we don't have to be this incredibly Olympic athlete meditator that turns their entire life upside down and wanders off. We can still live in this world, but we're going to change how we operate in the world, and we're going to have the self-discipline to carve out some time in the day, and we're going to set the intention, and then we're going to follow it. And it's a hell of a lot easier if we do it with someone, right? We do it with some friends. We do it within a community. We're accountable to each other. We encourage each other. We create sanghas wherein it's fun. And which reminds me of the sage groups, which is about to start, right? We're going to kick it off, Raghunath, our reading groups.
Kick it!
They're about to, yeah. We have about something like 14 or 15 really excellent group leaders, and we're just gearing up to start in the beginning of December. We're going to go for it. We tried to open up to just 100 people, so we didn't push it too much. We got 150 or so people that responded. We've got enough group leaders right now for about 126 people. So if you had written in to be part of these groups, we're going to call them sage groups. That's the name of it, right?
Sage groups. Okay.
Sage groups.
Fine.
And
Wisdom groups, maybe? Wisdom groups?
We're going with sage groups. And so,
of the groups. Of the...
and so there's different ones. There's like men's groups, there's women's groups, there's parenting groups, there's yoga asana groups, yoga teacher groups, there's young professional groups, there's addictive personality groups. There's all different kind of groups.
Here.
Which one? You want to take addictive personality?
Addictive personality. Oh, that's my group, man.
You want to do that one? So they're about to start, and then we're going to do it for 3 months. Then we're going to open it back up and take on with new, with more and more groups, and to facilitate more people. But that's starting real soon, so it's coming. Sage groups. We need a little sangha. Makes it a lot easier.
You know what? As a wise man once said, I get by with a little help from my friends.
I think that was Ringo.
I get high with a little help from my friends.
You get high by mistaking a bottle of THC for a bottle of CBD.
Cannabis oil. And if anyone missed yesterday's confession, you may want to go to episode, what is it, Mara?
568.
568.
Yeah.
People are
probably by mistake.
People are carefully, going over that episode right now. I think you only went into one laughing fit where you almost just like.
No, there was a time during the show where you read the question. I was just like, ooh, and you're like, well, what do you think the answer is? I was like, I don't remember what you said. And then another point in the show, I said something like, I'm having a hard day today.
Okay. That was a great verse. Shall we read the next one? We got to Samadhi, right? That was text 6. Are you with us today?
I gotcha.
Text 7.
Text 7, by the process or any other true process, one must control the contaminated, unbridled mind, which is always attracted by material enjoyment, and thus fix himself in thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay.
After controlling one's mind and the sitting postures, one should spread a seat in a secluded and sanctified place. Mm-hmm. Sit there in an easy posture, keeping the body erect. and practice breath control.
Okay, so we're hearing the same thing again, right? You go out in this secluded place, right? And then it says you lay out a seat. What does that mean, lay out?
It means,
Because you know what they lay out, right?
yeah, they sit on deer skin.
They sit on deer skin. Why?
They say it keeps the snakes away.
That's right.
You heard
That's what
that?
heard.
I don't
That's
know
what I
why.
heard. I guess the snake, if it's slithering up, it doesn't go over that. Maybe it feels like, oh, that's an animal. I don't want to get near it or something. I don't
They
know.
would say the sages would sit on deer skin and tiger skin.
Yeah.
There's a picture. If you just Google pictures of Shivananda Ganga on YouTube images, Google images, there's this picture of Shivananda sitting on a tiger skin.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't vegan, but they probably were ahimsa
they didn't kill
tigers. I don't
those
think they
animals,
weren't
so
hunting
they're
tigers.
Deer or tigers that died of their own, they all die eventually.
Yeah.
Then you get that skin. You sit and you put the grass mat on top of that too.
Kusha, auspicious grass.
Yeah. And then you sit there. Then you begin your meditation.
Okay. The yogis who practice such breathing exercises are very soon freed from all mental disturbances, just as gold, when put into fire and fanned with air, becomes free from all impurities.
Do you practice pranayama ever, Raghunath?
Yeah, practically every day.
Excellent.
Thank
I
you.
don't. I never really have very regularly. My wife does every day.
And I make my own grain. I grind my own flour as well.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
But
I grow it and grind it.
Okay. But it's actually hard
And
to
I save
imagine.
seeds. I save seeds too, in case
But
other
it's-
people want to grow it.
It's hard to imagine actually how powerful the practice of pranayama is. It's unless you really know the science of it, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But that practice has incredible health benefits and incredible mental benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think I'm so sharp, lucid, on the money?
Did you skip a verse or two?
I might have. That's sort of in my. I guess I'm not on the
you
money.
skipped text 9.
I think I might
think
have.
you did. Yeah.
The yogi should clear the passage of the vital air by breathing in the following manner. First, he should inhale very deeply, then hold the breath in, and finally exhale. Or reversing the process, flip it, bop it. You don't even know what that is, do you? You don't have kids. You don't know bop, Mary. You don't even know either. You don't have kids. Everybody with kids, write on the board what bop it is.
I think that's called a scroll. Get back into this verse, Robert.
Sorry, bop it. Okay, or reversing the process. The yogi can first exhale, then hold the breath outside, and finally inhale. This is done so that the mind may become steady and free from external disturbances.
You know what the terms are for those? Inhale, holding, and
Yeah.
exhale.
Kumbhak, antar.
Kumbhaka is
Kumbhak is just the retention. It's like you're
The
creating a pot. It's like the Kumbh Mela.
mm-hmm.
You're creating a pot within your body.
Kumbhaka, yeah.
Kumbhaka, antara.
Antara.
Antara is like the outer Kumbhaka.
Oh, okay.
Rachika.
Rachika, yeah, and Puraka, right? Puraka is the inhale.
Puraka's, yeah.
Kumbhaka is the holding. Rachika is the exhale.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's the antar Kumbhak, which is after you exhale, you retain. That's what I do. Antar Kumbhaks. That's where the power is. That's when I get my mystic powers.
Is that where you get your shot?
Antar Kumbh. Yes. By practicing this process of pranayama, I'm skipping stuff.
Well,
The
maybe not, because you
yogi-
did read that, but you could go ahead and read 10 again.
The yogis who practice such breathing exercises are very soon freed from all mental disturbances. How nice.
Mm-hmm.
Just as gold, when put into fire and fanned with air, becomes free from all impurities.
Right. That's how they purify gold, I suppose.
No one knows anything because no one deals with gold anymore. We deal with fiat currency. This is what me and Henry are into. Numismatics. Kaustubha.
Yeah, let's
Going,
not go
keep
here.
going. Not talk about numismatics and what happened in 1964
No need to.
when they took away the gold standard of the coins. You want to talk about that a little bit?
No.
Okay.
Text 11.
Text 11. Thank you. See, this is why I do it with the group, because it helps keep me on
Lost.
track. I don't do it for anybody except myself. The group just happens to be here. The Zoom group, the podcast, that's all secondary. This keeps me on track. The practicing of the process of pranayama, one can eradicate the contamination of physiological condition, and by concentrating the mind, one can become free from all sinful activities. By restraining the senses, one can free himself from material association. Yes. And by meditating on the personality of Godhead, one can become free from the three gunas, the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance.
Okay, so we just climbed.
This powerful statements here, huh?
Well, it was a climbing of the ladder of the Ashtanga Yoga system. It began with pranayama. What are the results of each of these practices, right? So by practicing pranayama, breath control, one can eradicate the contamination of their physiological condition, right? It purifies the body, right? It's
right.
Like it's
when we talk about sins, we think about like we're doing something out there. I did something at Kaustubha and I sinned. I did something in Mara and I sinned. I went into the bank and I sinned. I went to where we do, went to the bar and I sinned. It's not like we're doing something out there, like a thief. A thief is actually doing as much, if not more damage to themselves. What do you think about that, Kaustubha? Because you start developing a crooked mentality. Yeah. And then, of course, when we start eating improperly, I ate too much. This is a sin against myself. I mean, it's not like some sin is always out there getting judged by the law of the land. It's that I'm breaking natural laws that aren't assisting my growth, my health, my well-being, my evolution. We get rid of the word sin. We don't. That's I guess I don't. What's the word for sin they use, Kaustubha?
Well, here it's kilbishan, sinful activities. Let me look it up. Yeah, this is the only place in the entire Bhagavatam it's used. Kilbishan.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I clicked on it. That's the glory of this Veda base. You can just click on the word and go and see everywhere where it's used.
Bop it, twist it, pull it.
So it said, again, we're climbing up a ladder here, right? First it talked about pranayama.
Yeah.
And by practicing pranayama, it eradicates the contamination, the physiological condition. Then it's talked about dharana. By concentrating the mind, what's the benefit? One becomes free of all sinful activities. You get a settled mind. You have to
free from sinful activities. Yeah, because the senses are in control.
Yeah, I mean,
you realize like there's no I'm not going to fill this God-shaped hole with some stuff. No. So you're right. You're sattvic. You're thinking before you're acting on intelligence, not on your mind isn't telling you what to do. You're telling your mind what to do.
Yeah, and it would be interesting. Maybe, I don't know if we really got time right now, but when it says become free of sinful activities, what that can possibly mean is that you become free from the reactions of your sinful activities, right? You're becoming, I don't know the word kilbasan and necessarily what it all indicates, right? Because that cycle of sin, and in other words, there's the thought, there's the action, then there's the sin that's sitting there.
Cycle of sin from Harrisburg.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So, and we talked about this before, it begins with the thought, and then it manifests in the action. Then there's the reaction to it, right? Which can be lying in a latent state. There's aparabdha and parabdha, right? There's manifest sinful reaction, where I'm experiencing my karma right now. Then there's aparabdha, then aprarabdha. Then there's the reaction that's lying as a seed waiting to happen.
That's a good way to explain karma, huh?
Yeah, and then there's what you were describing. The other result of it is that your mind also becomes inclined to do it again, right? You become shaped by it. That's also part of the negative reaction. So when you say you commit a sin against another, really it's shaping your own mind. So you're getting a reaction, and you're also shaping your mind to be inclined to do that again. And that's why it's a cycle. Then you have that thought and that action again, and you remain stuck. So when it says here, by concentrating the mind, one becomes free from all sinful activities. Perhaps one way of understanding that is you kind of break your cycle there. Your mind is running through this cycle because it's been shaped by your previous activities, and now you're stuck. But you can, by concentrating on the mind, on the spiritual subject matter, you break the cycle. You become free. Make sense?
So this is called become free by cycle of sin. This is great. We could do this. We got a lot of bands names. Thanks, everybody. I think this is at that time. Our time is up.
Oh, we can't
There's a
finish
lot
the
of
verse?
Did I finish the
We'll
verse?
finish it tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, we didn't finish. We're climbing up a ladder. I've said that about like 6 times now. We're climbing up a ladder. We've taken 2 steps. We didn't do the rest of the steps. We'll pick it up here tomorrow.
They're interesting steps. They're very interesting steps.
They sure are.
The time is running. And Mara, do you have some nuggets that we can put in our pocket, bring home with us, and apply to life's roadblocks, life's sinkholes, glue traps? What do you got for us, Mara?
I got some good nuggets today. You need a roadmap.
That's for sure.
You need a roadmap.
Still your body to focus and energize the mind.
Yeah.
Yogis do.
Yep, yogis do that.
Everyone needs meditation.
Yeah.
Everyone needs meditation.
Instead of turbo scenarios, let go and let Krishna.
I like that.
Yeah.
Carve out a little time and commit to a sadhana.
Mm-hmm.
Become free from senseful activities.
Sensible
Sense gratifying.
activities.
Senseful, like
I let go of all my sensible activities by
Sensual.
mistake. I misunderstood it.
breathe.
It led
breathe
to 3 decades of misunderstanding of the yoga practice.
Breathe and break the cycle. Don't be a killer. Meditate on Krishna Lila. And be a grease
Nice
ball.
try with that one. Don't be a killer. That's supposed to be a rhyme there, Lady Di. Don't be a killer. Meditate on
the
Krishna Lila.
Gotcha.
And be a grease ball and stay separate from the crazy vinegar world.
It is. Vinegar is like the material world. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Like, these 5 a.m. Zoomers, they have like a small independent party. Like, we've got to keep it to 5. We got to keep it at 5. And they're here. They're showing up in support, rallying their team. Those who came in late, Adam Lamarca, Matt Godden. Who else came in late that I didn't say hi? Evan's the new guy in town. Krishna Chaitanya's here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's quite impressive to see people get up early. Unless, of course, they're from Europe and they just rolling. They've been up eating croissants all day already. Eating croissants and sipping
Such a European thing to do.
croissants and fancy coffee.
Little tiny coffee things.
I know. Yeah. You ever ask for a cup of coffee in Europe and you're like, what? What? Give me 6 of these.
And Americans are drinking these massive, ridiculous, huge things.
I'd like it the size of my head, please. A cup of coffee. But yeah, we need good association. That's my takeaway. That is my hashtag.
Okay.
That is. Guess what? Guess what? Kim Rossini is going to tattoo me. She was a Zoomer. She is a Zoomer sometimes. Now she's a bona fide other. But she's going to tattoo me when I go to Switzerland.
Wisdom of the Sages logo?
I'm thinking of Mara's face on one hand and your face on the other. And then
I know you're not going to do that.
Then we can go like that.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know yet. I think, you know what, truthfully? It's going to be tied in with the podcast. I might do a sweet baby Krishna.
Oh, sweet baby Krish.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Which picture?
I don't know. You know what? If anybody wants to send me pictures on Instagram, that would be I will tattoo the picture you send me. If you send me, you got to find the sweetest baby Krishna picture because she's really good with colors. Look at her stuff on Instagram. Kim Rossini.
Kim Rossini.
Rossini. She's good. And she does birds that look like birds. Sometimes you get a bird.
Maybe I gotta get a
doesn't look like
Garuda.
bird. Sometimes you get a bird doesn't look like a bird.